Hello, Jamie and Lucas from Fuel Moto today, and we're going to talk everything about Dynojet Power Vision and a lot of the changes we've seen, a bunch of new products. Things are changing pretty quickly and rapidly, and we're going to go over some of the best applications, where to use it, the pricing, the fitment, the features, the maps, and all the things we're getting a lot of questions on, and we thought we'd just do a quick video to kind of go over that stuff. And as always, we appreciate your business and love working with the customers here. And if you have any questions, you're always welcome to call or email. Just hit our website and we will be happy to help you there. So I guess the first thing we'll talk about is on the fitment. Go ahead.
Yeah, right now for fitment, we have this model is going to be the only one. The original Power Vision is going to be the only one we have for J1850. So anything with an orange 4-pin connector is going to be the what's considered like the PVOG or the legacy Power Vision. There is fitment coming for these within the next few months here. So you will be able to have PV4 and new PV3 capabilities on J1850 models.
Yep. And the J1850, that's going to be your bikes, your 2013 and earlier with the 4-pin cable.
Yep. Main difference in pricing between these is going to be that because of material costs and some other reasons that they're moving to these devices, this Power Vision is now $699. This one retails for $419.99, and then the 6-pin legacy 6-pin PV4s are going to run $369, while the 21 and newer red OBD style PV4s are going to run $388.
Yep. And just also note that the current Power Vision that we know and love, that's been around for about 10 years, that's not going out to pasture quite yet. It's still going to be in use for, we're expecting a very long time, and Dynojet's continuing to support new features and new applications and fitment, firmware, all this other stuff for new bikes and new ECUs as they come out. But you know, it is replacing what we're going to kind of call the generation 2 of the Dynojet Power Vision products, which would be the PV3 and the PV4. PV3's been on the market for a few years for some of the other ECUs and brands such as Indian, Can-Am, and some of the metric bikes. It's a very, very robust device that we use very frequently. PV4, obviously, as you know, that's the new device. That's based on mobile devices, flashes your phone or tablet. There's some very good advantages we'll go over on all this stuff in a little bit. So basically, how as it sits, the original Power Vision is still available for your J1850 bikes. That's going to be your 13 or earlier. It's available for your CAN bus bikes. That's be your 14 to 20s, and it's also available for 21 to 22 bikes. The PV3 is available for the same fitments with the exception of J1850. That one is not ready yet. We're expecting later this year. Same with PV4. So you have basically anything 2014 and later is covered by everything, but your 2013 and earlier is still only covered by the original Power Vision, which we're expecting to have fitment on these other ones. So as far as the features on them, and that's probably the biggest question we get, what's the difference between each device? What does what, how does it work, which one should I use? So, you know, the original Power Vision was really, really good. It surfaced really well because it had so many features and it's really powerful. You know, it had on-device logging and onboard auto-tune and all these different things because it's a really powerful device. So that is really nice for, you know, anything from a stock bike, anything to moderate or extensively modified. It works really good because you have a lot of tuning utilities right in the device, and WinPV software is really good. So that device will really work on pretty well anything. I mean, from a stock bike all the way up to a, you know, heavily modified. You know, we use this on, you know, our 200 horsepower Road King and everything else. PV3. That is pretty unique in the fact that it does not have a touch screen. The device itself is probably the most robust of all of these because this little device here, it's put together really well. It has a really nice screen that it's a TFT screen. It's a little more modern than the original Power Vision. You can see it really good in direct sunlight. And the device itself this thing is really, really tough. We use these a lot in UTV, ATV off-road, and I mean these things. They can stand conditions. It's really, really good. It has a really nice, easy to use buttons on the device to navigate, and the screens are nice and clear, and and the navigation's really nice as far as going from one feature to the next. Feature-wise on the PV3, you're going to have, in its current state, it has on-device logging. You can read and clear trouble codes. It does not have auto-tune on the device, but that is coming very shortly. I'm expecting probably in July timeframe to have an on-device auto-tune basic like the original Power Vision has on this device. And it also has really, really good integration into the PowerCore software. And that is what's really going to set the PV3 and the PV4 apart from the original Power Vision is the tuning software-wise for these two products. The newer generation has completely moved to PowerCore. Now, the original Power Vision is also in there as well, but we're seeing a whole new generation of stuff with the new products that's going to be released in there as far as not only the tuning-wise, but tuning utilities, features, and there's really a whole lot more to come from PV3 and PV4 because it's all tied directly into one software suite, and everything is under the hood in one place. So the really nice thing is, and this is fantastic, this is already a working feature, is if you have a bike with a PV3 on it, you can basically plug right straight into the software like on a dyno, or even if you're an end user, and when you're running the bike, you can see a live tracer in every tuning table, what's doing what and where. That's really, really nice. And the next step here for the guys that are dyno tuners and that is there's going to be what's called Tune Lab. If you're a dyno tuner, you have PowerCore running the latest dyno software and hardware in your dyno. You've probably seen for a few years, maybe you have experience with it. It's called Tune Lab. So what that does is that will take you can actually you can log live and watch the screen live, and you can actually create your histograms and everything right in the software, and you also can generate tune corrections automatically off your histograms. It's super cool. We've been using it for years with Indian. We actually helped Dynojet develop some of the stuff for the Harleys. It works really, really good. It used a lot of the same logic of the, say, the auto-tune features on the original Power Vision. A lot of that same logic is built into the Tune Lab. And even more cool is it's customizable. It runs on a Python, which is an operating system where you can create your own equations and such, and very, very cool. You can make your own filters. Really, sky's the limit. And as far as viewing and calculating and making your data useful for your tuning, it's really good. And we're gonna have a release of some of our own stuff on that front. We'll talk about that a little later, but there's really a lot of exciting stuff to come from PV3 for sure. We're really, really looking forward to working more with that one. We have a lot of experience, like we said, in Indian and off-road with it. All of our Indians, all of our TS111s, 116s, all that stuff have been tuned with PV3, so that's really familiar to us. Now the PV4, that's a little different in the fact that it uses all your tuning is done in the software, in the same PowerCore C3 software as PV3, and you could use it with the original Power Vision. The difference with PV4 is the PV4 itself is really essentially just a tune delivery device. So you don't really have a lot of features with this single product because it doesn't need to, because the features are actually in your app on your phone or your tablet. But it's really cool in the fact, one thing we really, really love is Dynojet can literally release live updates on the fly for that thing. So if we're talking with an engineer or Dynojet decides to make a feature change or something, they send it live to the cloud, and it's live. When you connect to your bike, it's already on there, which is really awesome. We've had some really, really great interactions with that in beta testing and such, where we wanted to try this or try that, and on the phone or on email with Dynojet, and they literally are sending stuff live to the device, and it's really, really cool. And that brings up one other thing too, is tune distribution. So we're going to continue to pre-program the original Power Visions PV3s like we have for many years. So when you order from us, we put the Fuel Moto Tune on the device. When you get it, you flash it. PV4 is unique. We still do almost the same thing, but it's actually a little cooler, where when you buy the PV4 from us, we actually send the appropriate tune to your tune cloud. So when you get the product, plug it in your bike, log into your Dynojet account, it's going to be, your tune's going to be there waiting. It's going to say shared tune and from Fuel Motor our name. You'll also have an email that will send you that information as well on how to do it. So that's really cool. The other thing too is after purchase tune support is really slick with the PV4, because when we supply you the tune, you basically use the same fuel map request form on our website as the other products, but when we send it, we don't actually physically email the tune. We just send it right to your device right through the cloud, which is super, super good. We have learned a lot over the last few months with that, and it's really, from a support standpoint, been really, really spectacular. We're looking forward to being able to do more of this stuff in the future with more of the products, and really, again, sky's the limit for some of the stuff we're going to be able to do here, and we're really looking forward to it. And then as far as the tunes themselves, I want to talk quickly is on the actual files. So the Power Vision, as we know it, the current Power Vision tuner, that uses a PVT file extension. That's the same, been back for over 10 years. Whereas PV3 and PV4, they use a DJT, which is basically native to the PowerCore software. The tunes actually themselves, we have the ability to convert any PVT from the earlier to the later tunes, so we can do that. They have basically most of the same tables. Some of the stuff has more, some of us have a little less. It basically have everything we need, and really, I mean, for the newer bikes, we have tons and tons of extra stuff in there, which is really, really good. And Dynojet's done a great job at digging up stuff we wanted to see and helped us with that. But as far as our after sales support, again, it's the same as always. Actually, probably a little easier with PV4. PV3, it's kind of how it always was. Email back and forth. It has logging. We can do all that stuff through our fuel map form. But again, as far as the auto tune, the PV3, we're expecting that hopefully next month. It's going to work very, very similar or the same as with the original Power Vision. There are going to be some add-on features with Target Tune as well. The PV3 and PV4, in the not too distant future, you're going to see a Target Tune for PV3. That's basically just hardware, software. We can do that. We actually have the ability to do that now. We're just getting all the stuff set up with the part numbers and the website and all that. PV4 actually could do the same thing, but there is a next generation Target Tune coming for that one, probably a little later this year. So Lucas is going to talk a little bit about the tune licensing, how that works.
Yeah, so given the fact that this is more of the delivery device, and we're anticipating most dyno tuners are probably going to want to use one of these two, or probably already have a shop Power Vision to some extent, like this one, you can actually take the in-device shipped from factory license that you marry to your bike initially for this. If you buy this from us, have a tune loaded for whatever the bike might be, have a build done, bring it somewhere, whatever. They can use this license to actually relicense one of these. That's a little bit more integrated into C3 and PowerCore. Is going to be a little bit more efficient means of dyno tuning. On top of that, all licenses that aren't just the ones that are shipped on the device from factory are completely transferable. So if you buy a license from us for one of these devices, and you, for whatever reason in the future, upgrade to this or that, you can always grab that license, transfer it onto this one, and you essentially, could use it. Or even if it was a used device that was already married to another vehicle, if you bought a license for a different bike, or for your bike that is married on this unit, you can marry it to this one as well for no additional charge, only the cost of the hardware. So those are all completely transferable.
That's a really good program Dynojet has for that, and it's a really good structure and foundation. So essentially, any tune license from any Dynojet Power Vision device can be transferred to another, with the exception of a PV3 in the original Power Vision, the tune license that comes embedded in the device. Everything else is completely transferable. And that brings up a really good topic too, is which device to use, and whether you're going to do the tuning yourself or whether you're going to take it to a dyno tuner. And we really go through that a lot every day with customers, determining which product would fit the best for their needs. And one thing that we repeat over and over and over is you really got to ask yourself who's going to be tuning and what are you going to be building. And you have two choices, is either A, you are going to take it to a dyno tuner and rely on them to hand you a turnkey product back, do the complete tune start to finish, or B, you're going to have to learn it yourself. So there's nothing really in between. It's either you have to have somebody else do it or do it yourself. And and there's very, very good reasons to do both ways, you know, and only you can make that choice, and it really is up to you. And you know, there are a lot of good dyno tuners out there that do a fantastic job, and you know, the biggest thing is you have to have the ability to drop the bike off and expect to pick it up turnkey, because nothing's worse than getting a tune that's not quite right and then having to fall back on us or Dynojet or whatever, and then we're in the middle of it or you're in the middle of it, and it's never a good situation. And you know, if you have a good dyno tuner, and you know, there are a lot of great ones out there, we know a lot of them, and we're always happy to help out with having find you a dyno tuner if we know some in your area. But on the other hand, we see quite a few people that take their bikes that have them dyno tuned, and they just don't turn out great. And you know, it all comes down to the relationship you have. You know, of course, the build and the parts and all that too are the most important part of all of it. I mean, you can't tune around a shortcoming in a combination with the tune. I mean, if you have an exhaust system or injectors or a throttle body or big bore, the combination's not built right, it isn't going to be the tuner or the dyno tuner. And so many times it gets blamed on the individual or the tune or one certain part, an exhaust or an air cleaner or a, you know, or a cam or whatever else, but or the tune, and where it's really everything has to come together on it, you know. And again, that's what we're here to help with too, is we've done that for many years, and helping people put the packages together to get them you know, get them going. But so, you know, as it stands currently, there's a lot of people have a lot of dyno tuners, I'm going to say, have experience with the original Power Vision because it's been out for 10 years. So if you get a PV4, the easiest is if you take it to your dyno tuner, if he doesn't want or he doesn't know yet, if he's not educated or proficient on PV4 tuning at this point, he can take your license from your PV4, extract it, and put it in a PV, the original Power Vision, and tune your bike just how he has for all these years. No. When he's done, he flashes it with that. Then you can just read it out or continue to use your PV4 and all the features how you want. The PV3 would be a little different because that is an embedded license. So that device there, you can't just pull the license out and put it in one of these. But there are many more tools for PV3 than there currently is for PV4, and that's a very good tuner too. It's easy to use. It's going to be very familiar as far as the tables, all the stuff for your dyno tuner to use if he wants to use it. And like I discussed earlier, in the very near future, there's going to be dyno tuning tools and utilities for PV3 and PV4 above and beyond what we've ever seen for the original Power Vision. So once the Tune Lab, all that stuff is all in working and functional, and this is within, I ain't gonna say weeks, but I mean early summer here, this stuff is gonna be in. We've been actually doing it for a while with this stuff, so we know how it works. It is really, really good. It's gonna be, on the dyno side, the next generation of stuff is gonna be far easier to tune with than the original Power Vision. The benefit also is going to be the original Power Vision will still work with the new stuff, the new software as it comes out. So that'll all be backwards compatible and forward compatible. So it's not to leave anything on the table with this, but the new products are going to be a little more forward facing because it's newer stuff. I mean, at the end of the day, this thing is the original Power Vision is getting a little older. It's 10 years old, and a lot of things have changed since then, but still a very powerful, very useful product, and we really love to use it. Still use it every day. So, like I said, this one here, it's going to be around for quite a while yet, and these other two, we're literally in the infancy of it. This is going to get really good, really quick with a lot of really cool stuff, and we're really excited to work with Dynojet on getting some of the features we were always looking for, and some of the stuff on there that'll really benefit the end users. And on that note is as far as end users tuning. These bikes, most combinations actually tune pretty darn easy, and we have we got a huge database of maps now, going back almost 20 years, and on these products, as long as they've been here. So we have many different maps, and we're always there to help. And the biggest thing if you're tuning the bike yourself is your willingness to learn and listen. So that's how we all learned it, by just doing it firsthand, and it's with the right tools, with the right maps, with the right support, there ain't no doubt you can do it yourself. And the biggest thing I like to talk with customers every day is the software, the hardware, This is the same thing the dyno guys are using. We use the same stuff on the dyno every day. You know, so we're looking at the same tunes, the same logs, the same data, using the same hardware. So there is no reason to think that with some time and effort you can't tune the thing yourself. The auto tune stuff does work really well. And I know a lot of dyno tuners, they're not huge fans of customers. They auto tune this, they auto tune that. Well, you know, end of the day, data's data and tunes. And if, you know, we can say firsthand that we've had, I mean, not one or two, it's in the thousands of customers over the years tune their bikes very, very well with using auto tune with, you know, a little help from others. And, you know, it all depends how close the tune is for what you got. And that, you know, we're going to do a whole other, on a whole different subject. We'll talk more about maps, what to expect from it and what not to expect from it. We'll do another video on that. But you know, end of the day, like, especially if you have, you know, if you have a stock stage 1, maybe a stage 2 bike, yes, you could use all of these, you know. Talked earlier, the Power Vision, the original, that'll work, you know, basically from your stock bike all the way up to extensively modified. Your PV3 stock stage 1, stage 2, very, very good. The maps are going to be really close. If you need to touch stuff up, you have your logging, you have all the stuff right there. We're here happy to help that. You'll have auto tune very shortly to touch that stuff up too. And then, you know, once the dyno integration is all finished up here shortly, that's going to be really take the place of this, where it's kind of sky's the limit. Whatever you want to tune, just go ahead and do it, because everything's in there. And the fact to use the same software, each of these are really just delivery devices anyways. And then on the PV4, you know, for the time being, we really like to use that on our, you know, stage 1 and some stage 2 bikes. Maybe if you got a mild big bore kit, do some stuff there. But also just realize for the time being, there's a big learning curve that, like, if you're expecting to go to a dyno, like, guys aren't proficient with that yet. They don't understand how it works. They probably haven't even seen one yet. So this is all new stuff, guys. And you know, it's people are used to using the same tool set they use for 10 years. So if you have a PV4, I would almost expect for the time being that the dyno tuner is just going to take your PV4, take the license, drop it into shop Power Vision and tune it with that. And there's nothing wrong with that. That would work really, really well. That's actually how we do it currently too. So, but yeah, as far as which one to use, that kind of narrows it down to, you know, to what we think, what, you know, for the end user, it really comes down to the tool set they're looking for and the features. And, you know, the mobile device stuff is really nice because it's so streamlined. You know, you literally open the app on your phone, grab your tune, flash it, and these two new devices flash super, super fast. So I mean, it's a matter of getting the product, plugging it in. If you have the app downloaded, 30 seconds later, your tune's flashing, you're riding, you know. So that is a really nice attribute there. One other really cool thing about PV3 is that while the tuning software isn't Mac compatible, the device is basically Mac compatible because it just works over USB. So if you have a Mac, if you're a Mac guy and you don't have a PC and you want to send tunes back and forth, it's really nice with PV3. You can just drop and drag or send to right over USB with the PV3. That's been really nice because in the Indian world, a lot of those guys use Macs, and that's been a really nice feature to be able to do that. And it's just a nice feature overall, being able to drop and drag tunes and send them to, you know, without having to, like with the original Power Vision, you have to link to the device and send through the software and such. With these, you can just file share them right from your directory, which is really, really nice. So I guess that's kind of what we had to talk about today. Any questions you have, you can send me your Lucas emails, or the easiest probably right straight through the contact us page on our website, or info@fuelmotorusa. And otherwise, welcome to call us, 920-423-3309. And if Lucas has anything to add, I think we're good to go. And we appreciate it very much. Keep an eye out for other videos. We're going to do one on maps here shortly on what to expect and what not to. And we'll be back at you, and happy tuning. Thank you.